Okay, so here we go. We're going to try this out. This is 7-112. I'm hoping that you have attempted it first and that you are going to use this video to check your answers. So we're going to try and do one at a time. We'll see if this works. This is 7-112A. Okay, so it asks a couple things, right? You've got a plane with an unknown number of passengers and 7 crew members. So what's unknown is the crew members, right? So the variable that I would choose to say this, I would probably choose the variable P to represent the number of passengers, right? And then we've got 7 crew members. So we want an expression, remember, it doesn't have an equal sign, to represent the unknown number of passengers and the 7 crew members. So A simply is just P plus 7, right? That's the unknown number of passengers plus the 7 crew members would be the total number of people on the plane. For B, it says we need to write, we know new information. The plane is holding 241 people, and we want to write an equation. So all we're going to do is take the expression we had from the previous problem, right? So this will give you the total number of people that can fit on the plane. So you're going to take your passengers plus 7, and now it's just simply going to be equal to 241, because that is the total number of people that can fit on the plane. Okay, that's B. Let's keep going. C asks us to think about inverse operations, right? And solving our equation to find the total number of people on the plane. So I'm going to take my equation that I had, right? Passengers plus 7 is 241. Just remember that the P represents the number of passengers on the plane. Do not forget that. So when I look at this, I'm going to think, well, I know inverse means opposite. I see an addition symbol, so the opposite of that would be subtraction. So really, the way that you solve this one is you're just going to take 241. You're going to use the inverse operation, which is subtraction. You're going to subtract the 7. That's going to give you your answer. So we can regroup. 11 minus 7 is 4, right? So our answer for C is how many passengers can fit on the plane, and we'll do this too. The number of passengers that can fit on the plane is 234. Okay, that means the 234 plus the 7 crew members would give you the maximum people on the plane, which would be 241. Let's look at D. D is a little different because it tells you that a plane doesn't always have to be full to fly, right? So we're going to use what we wrote in part B as a start. We're going to write an inequality using that symbol of less than or equal to. So we'll go back, right? We've got our passengers plus our 7 crew members, right, is 241. But you remember, you want to keep in mind that the plane doesn't always have to be full to fly, right? So it could be equal to 241, but it could be less. So what we want is that the passengers plus the crew members is less than or equal to 241. Okay, that means we could have 234, 233, 232. We could have 1 passenger, right? Each of those would be okay to do that, right? So the passengers plus 7 would be less than or equal to the maximum capacity of the plane. And finally, let's do E. It says, what values would make what you wrote in part D true? That is, what are the solutions to the inequality? So we'll go back. Got our passengers plus 7. It's got to be less than or equal to 241. So if you want to, I'll give you 2 ways to think about this. One way is to use the inverse operation. So you can take this like we did before. and subtract 7. Right, we can regroup. Gives you 4. Right. Okay, and really a trick is that you can bring this straight down, and your answer will just be the number of passengers is going to be less than or equal to 234. So you can have 234, means you could have 233, 232, anything goes dot dot dot, goes on and on, right? You could have all the way down to 1 passenger, you could have 0, so anything that's equal to or less than